Hi, thanks for returning. You know, our life in Wimberley, Texas couldn't have been better during this time. We had this beautiful lodging property in the country. We had the River Lodge property in the country. We had our house. We were married. We were happy. Our businesses were really successful. Things couldn't have been better. And I started having these dreams and visions during this time. This was in early 2004. And I want to recount the first of a series of dreams that I had and visions. Right now I'm going to share with you one that was incredibly vivid. And this was the dream. I was part of a community, and my family was the leader of this community. And in this community, we all had extraordinary powers, unimaginable powers, all of us did. But especially the family that ruled had extraordinary powers. And I was the only child of this family. My father was teaching me the ways of our culture in this community, because I would inherit the position of ruler, so to speak, after my father's death. So it was more of a patriarchal society, but because I was the only child, the inheritance of the rulership or the position, this revered position in the community, fell to me, as I said, after my father's death. We were appointed or elected in some way to this position because we were completely immune from using our extraordinary powers inappropriately, or rather not for the highest good of everyone. We were just immune. It was just not in our being to misuse our powers in any way. And that was true for most of the community, for the most part. One day I am in this holy, sacred place that was like an underground room, a large room. And while our society was just extraordinarily advanced technologically and spiritually and all other ways, it was a very, very kind of rustic or basic or primitive existence. I was in this room, this holy of holy rooms, and nobody else was allowed in this room except for our family and extended family. And those approved to be able to come and go out of this room because it was so holy. The room contained this huge, it was this enormous cauldron kind of thing that had a cover on it. The cover looked like it was made out of metal, and it was like there were designs in this metal, but the metal, they were like flower petals, and they closed like this over this cauldron. The cauldron, I call it a cauldron, I don't know what else to call it. It was actually a portal to the center of the earth. So it was molten rock or lava or something. It glowed golden. Very similar to a dream that I had when I was a student being taught by that Asian man, if you watch that story. It was very similar to that. There was an enormous wooden lever that was like hand-hewn kind of wooden handle that you had to pull to activate these gears that would open up these petals to reveal this portal. And this room had great power. It signified something very sacred and holy to our community. Anyway, I'm in this room this day, and I was just in this room checking things out, I suppose, familiarizing myself, remembering my teachings from my father. And I had grown up with this girl. She was my best friend. And she and I were very, very, very close, like sisters. And the entrance to this room was guarded at all times. And while I was in the room, the entrance opened, and the guards had let in someone. And when they approached and entered the room, of course, I'm in there, and I knew immediately that whoever entered was not really who they appeared to be. The person that entered this room was actually my best friend, my girlfriend. And she had disguised herself to look like one of our family members, both in her dress and her whole being was completely transformed. I'll use the word shape-shifted to look exactly like one of our family members who was allowed access to this room. I knew as soon as she walked in that even though she looked like one of my family members, I knew that it was her. And I knew that her intention in coming into the room and tricking the guards outside to gain entrance was that she was there to kill me and to assume my identity. You have to understand, we had extraordinary powers, and we were able to do this. And her intention was to take my identity and take the place as the daughter in this kind of royal family. So when she entered and then she kind of shape-shifted back into her female form, I begged her, please don't do this. I'm not in fear of you, but I'm in fear for you. Please have a change of heart and don't carry out this that you have set to do. She immediately threw me to the wall, just with her mind. And she bound me in these chains that were enormous. And she bound me in these chains and hoisted me up to the ceiling, just with her mind. And I allowed her to do this. I could have at any time freed myself from my bondage. I was never in bondage. But I allowed her to do this to me because I wanted to give her enough time to have a change of heart. And she pulled the lever for these flower petals, these metal flower petals to open. And her intention was to direct me with her mind over this cauldron and drop me in this cauldron and destroy me. When she directed me to the over this big cauldron type thing and released me, I was falling, and I simply flew off to the side of the room and stood before her and said, I'm really, really sorry that you didn't have a change of heart. And I still love you, and I'm just so sorry that you didn't change your mind about this. And I have no choice but to deliver you to the family. And I had to do that. And that was the end of the dream, basically. But what I learned from this was I learned about betrayal. And I learned how important it is to always use what powers we have, the power of speech, the power of our words, the power of our mind, to always conduct these gifts that we have in the ways that are good for everyone. And this was the beginning of a dream that I had, a series of dreams. And I'll share some of the other experiences that I had, dreams and visions that completely changed our life. Thanks for watching.